Good morning, everyone. It's Joker, and today we are back with another slime video. One of the final four stages of Extreme Challenge Quest, the Megalodon Magma. So, not a character who is like an offshoot mirror realm of a kind of a big boss. It's just kind of a shark. So cool. They want us to use a water team, which is going to be very interesting because stacking water is the first real blue, like true blue stacking meta that we got. Because I don't really count the Space 1.0 team because Veldora was buffing all orbs. Like, this is the dedicated, like, you need to use blue orbs to do anything with this stacking water team. And it's not a bad team per se. It's just fairly old. It does have high attack, 17,000 attack for this Magma Megalodon. 222k HP, we'll take that out real fast. Stage nerfs greens and nerfs oranges. I think this is one of the first stages that nerfs both colors. I think they were pretty free and easy earlier, but now we do have some restrictions. 75% is a pretty big debuff. Thankfully, it's only for 3 turns, but I don't know if it reapplies it after the end of 3 turns. The missions, 9 turns or less, 220 skill points, and all magic characters. So we are changing up the missions a little tiny bit, the final mission at least. So let's go ahead and build the Water 2.0 team and jump in. Alright, so Water 2.0, the swimsuit, our very first swimsuit meta of 2, I guess. Watermelon, free-to-play Water Reamer, his actual team, instead of just slapping him onto any blue team, this is the team he's meant to be run on. We're going to bring Light Soka again because she's got the special convert and she's a magic character, which fits the mission for a team full of magic units. And then Shion, Shuna, and Hinata are the damage dealer, buff, orb change, everything else that we need. Hinata is skill fused. If she's not, don't worry about it. Shion is skill fused. If she's not, don't worry about it. Shuna is not skill fused, because I will never skill fuse her. And then the charm we are running for Milim is protection gauge on blues for extra stacks of her. Okay, well, I mean, yeah, we can certainly do that. Let's just use Soka's, and we'll save all of Rimuru's orb changing. We'll take him out of here. Shion has protection gauge on turn 2. Shuna and Hinata have skill points on turn 2. And then I think Water Alice has skill points on turn 2, or maybe turn 3. Can't really remember that. Holy crap, this thing does not have a lot of health. Okay, well, we gotta make it live to the point where we can use 220 skill points. Alright. Oh! Well, perfect. Okay. I mean, we can just use Soka again. Yeah, we got a lot of skill points after that. Let's take out Shuna, because I don't want to do as much damage as we have been. Alright. Convert again. We'll put the water stack on Shion and Hinata, and that just means they'll hit harder. Thankfully, Soka will not hit harder, and I think we'll just send her last instead. We just need to get a couple stacks. Let's 3 stacks gets us to 220 skill points, which is great. It's just, I don't know how the math is going to work out to actually using 220 skill points, because we have 165 from the 3 55-point skills. We have a little bit from Hinata coming in. 15 and another 25 if we use it on the right time. Wow. Okay, I mean, I guess I'm using all my luck for Jubilee RNG today. That's not actually a good thing. We'll just do this, and we'll put a stack on for funsy onesies, I guess, and we'll continue to send it. Alright, we're doing a lot less damage now, because we're not sending Hinata orbs last. And he's guarding. Alright, that's good. Okay. So now we should be up to probably 4 stacks. Okay, there's the luck there. That's technically still fine, though. Alright, yeah, we're up to 220 skill points, so we just need to do this. And then we gotta math out what it's gonna take to actually do 220 in 1 turn. So that's 1, 2, plus another 55. That takes us down to 55 points. I mean, we probably could. I'm just gonna burn a turn. How many points do we get off of this? 8 points? Okay, well, let's not do that then. Let's do Water Rimuru in for Hinata. And then... oh, wow. Maybe I should have brought you in for Soka instead, huh? Yeah. Okay, well, let's just burn these out then. 232 skill points. Excellent. We got a little bit more. And then we'll just attempt to use 220 next turn. And we can just nuke this thing down. So, let's do whatever this skill is. Defense down. Sure, why not? And then we'll bring Hinata in for Sokka. We'll bring you in. And 55, 110, 165, plus 25. So that's 170, no, 170, 180 points. 195. And then 220. Okay, yeah, there we go. Math. At least, I say math, and I'm going to get that number wrong. And someone's going to be like, you're a friggin' idiot in the chat or the comments. And I'm going to be like, yep, no, I am. I've never claimed to be good at math. And here we are, being bad at math. 346k in 5 turns. Yeah, this stage isn't that hard. Okay, we had, one stack of Hinata's buff? So that's why I said if she's not skill fused, don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. The thing only has like 222k HP or something. We did an extra 110. Alright, well, let's move on to an alternate water team then. Okay, next team, we've made a few substitutions. We've brought Space Feldora, because we're going to run a highly space-dependent team. Cleesh is here. This is, again, a full magic team based on blue orbs, so we'll get both those missions done. We'll get the mission done for full magic team, and then 220 skill points in a turn, hopefully. Rimuru, still here. Good orb changing. We've swapped out Sokka for free-to-play Rieger, because we've also dropped Water Shuna, who had the orange convert, for Space Shinsha. So he has the orange convert that Shuna had, and also has the alt swap, which is handy. Cleesh, green orb changing, the magic resistance down, 55-point skill will help us get to that 220-point cap. Milim is here as our DPS, has the Drago effect, has the 55-point space buff, and the magic buff for herself. And then Shinsha, backup DPS, single target space, will get the benefit of the magic resistance down, the space buff. And then she also has the 70% alt buff and 30% space resistance down, which if you're skill fused, it's 40, but mine's not because it's inconsequential. She also has the Enamor effect, which helps us get ults faster, which I guess is cool. But I mean, this team easily will do it too. Okay, so we have a good starting hand where we can just use Rieger, and we can get this team started. Because I'm terrible at math, I'm not entirely sure how many points or what skills we need to use to add up to the full 220, because we can do that with this team. We've got the 55-point buff from Milim, the point buff from Shinsha, and then we have the Cleesh debuff, which is 55 points, and then we're obviously going to use Milim's Drago, which is another 15. But after that, I don't know, depending on our skill usage, if we have, what skills we need to use, what costs we need by the time we hit the nuke turn. Because obviously we're not going to wait till turn 8 to do this, because we can do it much earlier than that, as long as we get a Milim ult and a medium amount of points. It's just that it wants us to do the 220, so I'm going to do the 220 points. We are getting very lucky with orbs here, which is great, except I am probably screwing myself out of Jubilee luck with this. Oh well. But Rimuru can come in, he'll convert his own orange, and then he'll convert the green, and then we'll get him out of here for Cleesh. Kind of unfortunate we're not getting that many orbs from Milim, but also not a terribly big deal either. We're up to 180 points, and we'll be very close to the cap, if not capped out, with any traits that we have active. I don't actually know if we have any turn 2 traits here with this team. But we have yet another good Sokka hand, except we didn't bring Sokka, so we're gonna have to do something about it. But we do have a lot of orb changers, so we'll probably just use Cleesh and we'll bring Rieger back in, or some kind of variation of that. And then, now we are technically capped at 220, but I make a quick break after this turn to pause and do math, and based on my skills and the cost that I have, I need like 230 points to use the cheapest things and still get that 220. So we have to push another turn, which is unfortunate. It just makes the stage longer than it should be, but it's fine. So here, I mean, we are ready to nuke, and if you don't really care about the 220-point mission, then you certainly don't have to do it here. But there's no way for us to cleanly use 220 points exactly in our setup that we have going. So I have to orb change out of this, and because Veldora sucks, and he's only giving 50% per orb instead of 100% skill point per orb, I do have to make a cut there. And so we actually don't make a lot of as many points back as I thought we would on this full hand of blue, and it pushes us to turn 6 instead, or turn 7 actually. Yeah, because we're gonna use 3 different conversions here because God hates me, and I used all the luck that I had in the earlier stages of this fight. It was like, no, you don't get any blues. So we only have 213 points now, so we actually have less. We actually have less points, and we've used like 4 stacks of Veldora at this point, which really just goes to show how old he is and how sad the Space 1.0 meta was as far as stacking standards are concerned. But because he's giving it to every orb, that means that these 4 greens will cap us out very easily. We just can't let Rieger die. So we're going to bring Cleach in for him, and then we'll just send these 4 greens. That'll cap us out. Now we have 300 points, and now we have plenty to choose from as far as buff and orb convert combinations to get to the 220 mark. And Milim, she's low on health, Rieger's low on health, he does have a decently high attack stat. But now we're ready to go. So 300 points, so Cleach debuff, boom, we'll bring Shinsha in, and then we'll use a combination of all of their skills, almost everything. So we're going to use buff, enamor, Drago, and then one of the 65-point skills, and that will put us over 220 points used. And then we can nuke, and Milim will kill, because she does too much damage anyways, even not type advantage. 159. Cool. There's that. There's both those missions done. Full magic and 220 points. Let's move on now to the free-to-play team. Alright, and the full free-to-play team doesn't really look that much different. We've got now the free-to-play Satoru Rimuru from the Visions of Coleus meta, another blue stack protector, and he gives guaranteed synergy to everybody for 1 turn. Which synergy is a fairly good buff. It doesn't stack or anything, it is just now you do synergy. It is a little bit of extra damage increase, though, which will help out our 2 water magic characters, the free-to-play Rimuru that we've been using literally this entire series, and then Ranga, who we used once, and then Cleach, Sokka, and Rieger are here for the ult converts, orb changes, and all that jazz. They've got everything covered. So this team should run fairly well, and we'll do a little bit extra damage because of the synergy buff. We always blaze through these ones, but we have Sokka, so that means we can actually convert this hand with her and not have to fuck around with 2 different converters, like we did with the last team with Space Milim, because we didn't have a special convert, where we could have very easily used a special convert for a lot. It's just that normally we use Water Rimuru as a permanent backline unit because of his special conversion of his own orbs. Here, though, we need him to be the DPS, because not only is he type advantage, he's getting the extra magic buff underneath Visions of Coleus Satoru Rimuru. So his stats are actually quite a bit higher than our Water Ranga, even though they're both water magic. So he has to remain up front to be our quote-unquote damage dealer. And, 2 turns in, we've taken off an okay chunk of HP for what we've been doing. It's just that now he's got guard, he also hits hard. I did not put a heal charm on the Protector Satoru, which in hindsight, after doing this stage, I should have, because I think Rieger was literally a nut tap away from dying. If I left him in or he'd gotten countered 1 extra time, he would have died in this run. So it probably better, if you're going to run a free-to-play team, don't worry so much about the stacks, because you're not actually stacking any kind of damage buff. Just keep yourself alive longer and longer, and eventually you can send enough blue orbs to kill. But this fight just takes a while because we don't have any massive buffs here. And because our orb changes always cost more and more points, I'm never actually at a decent spot to have a Rimuru ult and have enough points to convert to 5 blues and use the Cleach magic debuff. Like, I don't think I ever used it on this run for Cleach. So she is here just solely to be an orb changer. And yeah, here we go. Look at that. We took a crit, literally a nut tap away from dying. He needs to go away. He will never see the front line again. Thankfully, we do have another blue orb incoming when he swaps out, and then we can just use Cleish's orb change. But you see that we're down to 35 points, and I don't have enough to use the magic debuff here. It probably would have really helped out our damage. Oh well. Sucks to suck. But we do have an entire hand of water, which is, yeah, really unfortunate that we can't get a magic debuff on. But 5,000, 6,200 a hit for Rimuru, so there's the extra stats that we're getting from Satoru really in full view. And now turn 7, he's at a third of the HP, 1/3 HP, and yeah, we'll bring Soka in for Cleish. Again, I want to leave Rimuru up because he does the most damage, even though he and both him and Ranga have steadily been taking more and more hits, which is why I really think you guys should run a heal charm if you're going to even attempt this with this specific team. Again, hopefully you don't have to resort to a full free-to-play team, but I'm trying to include all of my audience, right? Not everyone has all these old 5 stars. In fact, I'd be very surprised if even 50% of you have these old 5-star units to use, at, you know, leveled up and skill leveled and all that, because most of you at this point started when EX units were a thing. Not many people at this point are around from the very, very, very early dark side days of the game, which means you don't have access to these old free-to-play character 5 stars unless you pull them off of all the fucking free tickets that they've given us over the past 6 months or so, which very grateful they have. A lot of players have pulled a lot of 5 stars off of those, and the bingo board tickets and the Quarter of Awakening tickets, they've been giving away a lot of 5 stars recently, and they've been a lot more generous with that. Unfortunately, they don't actually give away like EX characters or a lot of EX shards unless you do Chamber of Memories, but that's a whole separate issue. But there is the full free-to-play team and the other teams that can clear this stage against the Megalodon Magma. If you have any other teams that are not Vengeance, please put them down in the comments below. But that's it from me, guys. Take it easy, and I will see you all later.